Well, thanks to everyone for having us here. It's funny because today we are going to talk about carbon. You're going to hear talking about carbon all day. So it's going to be maybe you try to find your niche there, no, about what you are going to say, no? So basically, this morning when I waked up, I was telling to Barbara before in the coffee break that I opened the window and say, wow, man, what a sunny day, no? This is like, I come from Valencia, but it's very sunny. And I say, that's climate change. Maybe it's not German people coming to Valencia anymore. It's Valencian people coming to Germany at some point, no? So for vacation, but so basically, well, Climatetrade is our baby. We were born in 2017. I've been serial entrepreneur during all my life. I created my first company when I was 16. When I came back from United States during my school studies there. So I created one of the first online stores in Spain, and then I sold it, and then I came to the corporate world. I wanted to be an M&A expert. I ended up being a regional manager for one of the leading tech banks in the world, BBVA Bank, and that was Casualty. And well, when I was there, I embraced the blockchain technology from the very beginning, 2014, and well, I was one of the early experts on not only in the bank, but in Europe. So I was teaching internally together with my position, the teams about what was blockchain, what was the cryptocurrencies, what was all this that today is so famous and so common, no? So at that point, when I was in BBVA, and normally it happens to me that I see the trends very advanced, so I saw that was a huge tsunami coming in the climate space. And as Steve Jobs said once, all the dots got together in one point of your life, it happened, no? My daughter was coming, my partner's daughter was coming, was one of the people was working for me in one of the branches. Both daughters has the same age today. And we thought, hey, why don't we apply technology to climate and be one of the principal solutions also, as we think it can be. So that's how we applied blockchain, and we created the Climate Coin in 2017. Climate Coin was the first crypto asset in the world for attached to a carbon credit. Today, at that point was too early. Now people didn't understand, and especially the corporates didn't understand what we were doing. It was funny when we called the doors to the people. Today we are relaunching Climate Coin in the United States and with powerful investors, members from academia, members from the UN, from different at the end of the year. So I'll keep you posted about it. So at that moment, what made us the origin of Climate Coin made us generate the first NFT marketplace in the world. I'm sure you guys know about what is an NFT today, but in 2017 nobody knew what was an NFT because the name was not that much created. No, it was a non-fungible token that obviously has a detail on the code that identifies a certain carbon credit that is in a registry. No, that was my idea. We created that and was Climatetrade. Again, people didn't understand what we were doing. In 2017, companies were saying, I don't want blockchain, I want tokens, I don't want anything. So we made a mini pivot. We moved to the Climatetrade with blockchain, but in the back. So basically today, Climatetrade, it is a platform that allows to tackle climate change through the voluntary and the mandatory markets. But why is this important? Because in 2019, we emitted 50.8 billion tons of CO2 to the atmosphere. And this is important because what happens with the nature of all the citizens, probably not us because we are working on this, and we have a very strong purpose. But what happens normally with the citizens is that until we don't face the problem, and when there is not a solution, we don't take action, no? And that's normally what happens, no? And then the doors are closed, and then we cannot do anything, no? So that's why we need to mobilize, no? Today we have 3 events worldwide at the same time. So the clone, I don't have a clone yet, but we are working on it. So my COO and some part of my team is in Boston now, and another one in another part of the globe. So basically, what we do is to bring all the new regulations, as you may know, from the European Green Deal, the Paris Agreement, that is basically the re-kickoff of what we created back in 1997, the Kyoto, no? And is what establishes commitment from the governments, and now we need the recommitment this year on the COP. We hope we can get that recommitment, and then move forward with more speed, not that much words and money that we don't know where it goes effectively, you know? So by politicians, I mean. And obviously because we have already investors that are already pushing the companies, and so as you know, the solution is public and private. It's not only public and it's not only private. The solution is a mix, is a combination of the public and private sector, and obviously the citizens that we have to all put our small efforts every day, you know? So basically, I don't know if you see me here, but we were in the head of the of the marches in Spain, in Madrid. So we have another brand for B2C called Save the Planet now, and our warriors are called Planet Warriors. No, our members, our citizens that do all that efforts are Planet Warriors. No, we are working on that to also bring together to the same concept in Climatetrade. No, so we made the works there. I don't know how you say it in English. Sorry. And well, basically it's because today also we have to understand that this pandemic and the brands have to understand that we were talking about Coca-Cola before, no? I think he left or he's in the other room maybe. Before I created Climate Coin, I was thinking on a concept of changing the way the brand Coca-Cola or the brand of a Coca-Cola, and we created the Health Cola. And that was 2015. We didn't launch it finally because it came Climate Coin. But there are many things that today the brands cannot they cannot do or we won't be able to do. Now, for example, Coca-Cola is reducing that much contamination, but the ingredients, we have to look at the ingredients. What do we have inside? No, in terms of health, about for the citizens, not for the people. No, that's another story. No, but today after the pandemic, 71% of the citizens says that they are not gonna support a company that is not doing the efforts to change the way the things are being every day, no? Because at the end, the pandemic has been an advice, no? It's been an advice of zoonosis. Yeah, you can think that it can come from the Mother Nature. It comes from the Mother Earth, but it can be modified or not modified, but it is an advice. And we have to think about that, no? So basically, you know all about the ESG criteria that I'm not gonna tell you because probably you heard many times, and all the regulatory framework in Europe about the non-financial reporting and about funds. I've been banker for 15 years, so I know how you go to I was thinking on this and say, okay, now you go to a bank and you tell the banker, I want an investment fund, and he's gonna have to ask you, do you want your fund to be sustainable or not? What are you gonna say? 90% of the people is gonna say, yes, of course, I want my fund to be sustainable. So every asset manager is making a rating of the companies today, and it's not only making a rating, it is going to invest only that, and at the same time is going to compensate that investment funds. We are working with some of the biggest financial institutions on that also. So today we are talking about carbon footprint, no? It's our core business, and obviously what do you have to do? As we were saying before, some of the colleagues, you have to calculate, you have to reduce, I like to say reduce and efficient your obviously your emissions, and then compensate, no? And then you have the three scopes: direct emissions, you have the grid emissions, and the indirect emissions. We are working on that on all that spaces. But how are we doing this? What do we do? And in Climatetrade, basically we help companies to achieve carbon neutrality. We are not a consulting firm; we are a marketplace. Because what we noticed, and there are other marketplaces here in the event, that the companies, the sustainability managers, had a real problem. Because they didn't have too much options. They were just phone, broker, sell me the offsets, and you have to say, okay, I believe you. The price you are selling to me is the right price. I believe that the money is arriving to the developer. I believe that the developer is receiving the fair price and is generating a positive impact. But we had to believe that, but we don't want to believe anymore because transparency is another huge trend in the market. Radical transparency on everything, products, everything that we are looking at, no? So Climatetrade introduces, in our marketplace, we introduce blockchain technology for doing that possible, no? So basically, Climatetrade allows eliminate traditional intermediaries, allows reducing costs, allows a speed of transaction. And you see here Acciona. Acciona is one of the leading sustainability companies in the world. is one of the leading utilities in the world. All their power is renewable, and now our strategic partner it was our first provider and one of our strategic partners. Acciona came to us because they were taking 2 months internally to generate a carbon transaction. 2 months, because bureaucracy. I mean, I started working with companies that I made a pilot, and it took 9 months to do, again, next things with them, no? Because we know how corporates, they work, no? And some startups in that mid-time can die of starvation, no? So that was the case, and I say, okay, you're taking 2 months, with us is 5 minutes, no? So that's the difference, no? And obviously, not only the cost reduction, the project diversity. We have more projects today than probably in any other platform in the world, no? And we will have that. So the project diversity that we have in the platform is obviously all composed of not only like projects from the CDM, but BERA, Gold Standard, and American Carbon Registry is some of the biggest standards in the world that we are having from all different methodologies. We don't have only carbon reduction projects. We don't have carbon avoidance projects only. We don't have carbon sequestration project only. I mean, we have all what the companies need today, and obviously with the different filters, but that you can select whatever you need, no? At some point. But all is certified, verified, and we don't certify it ourselves because for that we have some companies that certify and verify the projects. We don't need to do it ourselves because we are no one to say which project is good, which project is not good, no? And that's why we created the first blockchain registry in Europe also with one of the biggest companies in Europe, the Stock Exchange of Spain and the Stock Exchange of Switzerland, SIX Group. And that group, we did this because of the due diligence. We cannot be marketplace and we cannot be a registry at the same time. And that said, in the least recent task force of McKinsey is established that you cannot be registry and marketplace at the same time, because if not, it's not fair, no? So basically together with that in 2018, and I don't know how much time, 2 minutes only? Okay, I'm gonna go faster. So in 2018, the UN recognized Climatetrade as the best solution in the world for the climate markets. So basically, the observatory report in 2018 said that the solutions we were bringing were the right ones to change the way the carbon markets, the climate markets were working. So in that year, going to one of the COPs, I think it was the Bonn one, I got up playing with Ryanair. And I remember I got Ryanair and I saw sustainability and I said, wow, I'm gonna look what they are doing. And I say, do you wanna pay €5? And I say, okay, that round number doesn't give me any much faith, but I'm gonna pay €5. So I paid €5 to see what they were doing. I didn't know what was my carbon footprint. I didn't receive any certificate. I didn't receive any email, nothing. I paid for, I don't know why. I don't know where my €5 went. So I thought I need to change that radically. So we created the first carbon API in the world. Today, the API of Climatetrade allows to very easily to integrate and compensate electronics, phones in Telefonica.com, which was one of the biggest carriers, telecommunication companies in Europe. We do it with hotel chains like Meliá Hotels International, NH, and many other big companies in the world. We do it with gas stations, oil companies, cargo shipping, transportation, any sector you may imagine, financial sector. So we are connected to all of that, and our API every time is has more proficiency, and we are integrating AI and many other things to the API today. So today our API was recognized 4 months ago by the UNWTO as the best solution for the travel industry. So we are now official partner of the UNWTO, the World Travel Organization, for the travel industry. So our API is going to be offered from the UNWTO to the 48,000 members to use our solution. No? After that was basically, sorry, I have to take off the certificate, but that's the certificate that we give to our we are a lot of competitors here today. So, what we do is basically when we certify and we give you we calculate the carbon footprint with the API. We give you the carbon footprint exact of your flight, of anything that you are doing, any service or product that you are consuming. And at the same time, when then you decide to compensate, you receive a certification customized for you as a user, as an end user, that you can use and is certified by one of the biggest certification companies worldwide. So we do it also in retail stores with car credit machines. And then today we work with more than 300 corporations. These are some of the biggest ones in Europe and in Spain: Suez, Telefónica, IAG Group, BME, Danone. In some of the branches, obviously Danone is super extensive. And Cabify, which is the Uber of Latin America and Spain. And we are very proud of that project. And Santander, we calculated, we compensate the carbon footprint of the Santander Bank all around the world, and we are doing now with other financial institutions and helping them in another pilots to increase that. So we are members of many organizations like the International Chamber of Commerce. We founded the Climate Change Coalition of the United Nations as the best, as you know, Climate Change Coalition is the new technologies applied to climate. And today we are more than 20 people, moving to be 40 in a quantic jump in 2 months, because we are opening all around the world. We opened our offices in the United States, opening all around Europe. And well, these are some of our advisors and the prices that we got. And as I was saying, we compensate events, we compensate flights with Iberia, the rides with Cabify. Whenever you get let's say a cab, you receive your exact CO2 real time with a certificate that you compensated. We do that with electronics, as I said, in the construction also. And that's basically it. So for me, what I like to say, and I end up my presentation, I didn't do this for offsetting. I did this because of my daughter, because of the future generations, and really what we want to change is the world, how the world behaves, how the world is doing. So there are major threats. Decarbonization is one very important thing, but plastics are other one, waste is other one. So there are great solutions worldwide that do not have funding. And that's what I found in my career in the bank. We had a lot of solutions that do not have funding, and the funding goes always to the ROIs, to the big renewable projects that has clear ROIs. We need to channel funding to that groups that has amazing projects that I know, and they don't have funding because I know them, and we need to mobilize that. And every time, the world is moving towards that direction, but we need to push on that direction also from our side. Thank you so much.